my coffee.
Crunchy, crunchy. Hey, hey, it's Josephine from the Pointe Shop. This is Pointe Shoe Hacks, aka my favorite series. It's not your favorite series, but it's my favorite series. Here we go. Ooh, okay.
Frozen's flammable. Don't recommend playing with fire. Fuzzy edges, no more. But it does really work. Smells like toasted marshmallows. Yum, looking pretty good.
Yeah, so if you cut off the tips.
If you don't want to play with fire, then use nail polish or like the anti-fraying stuff, the little spray stuff. Try that.
What's the anti-frying stuff? I didn't know that. But yeah, if you cut the satin off the tips of the shoes, it'll continue to fray. So if you burn the edges, just like you burn the tips of the ribbon, it'll stop fraying. Prep my pointe shoes for rehearsal with me. This edit is amazing. Oh my God, girl. Oh my gosh. You have to be so careful with the nails too. There's been lots of injuries from pointe shoe prep. Yes, ma'am. Threading the needle. Oh yeah, take it off the old shoe. Yes, you can recycle ribbons and elastic. Okay, so it looks like she wears a block. That one's a really nice flat shank on the outside. Oh my gosh, cats, they will get in on all of your accessories. Mommy's pointe shoes, they're the best toys. Ooh, nice. Those vamp look really high. Ooh, so pretty, nice. When it comes to pointe shoes, there's no left or right, but there is a little bit of a difference because they are handmade. So one could be better for one foot more than the other. Oh my gosh, those are so dead. Help. Okay, you see the stitching on the side of the shoe? That's called a Frankenstein stitch. So if you have too much fabric, you can sew it in so that it takes up a little bit of that excess fabric to make it a little bit cleaner. But those look so dead. Look at how beautiful her feet are. Oh my gosh, her calves. Oh, so, so gorgeous. It's called an owl. I'm not pronouncing it right, I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, so because FR Duval's, the platform is so difficult to kind of get through, you have to poke holes if you want to darn this. Dang, that's hard. It's kind of like Gainer Minden as well. If you want to darn the edges, then you have to kind of poke it through because it's a nightmare to sew through that. This is so beautifully done. I know I used to carry around a lighter for like 10 years in my bag because you have to burn the tips of the ribbon so that it doesn't fray. Why is this so satisfying? Ooh, breaking in new pointe shoes. Ooh, yes. Never gets old. Flattening the box, this sounds so good. And this is made out of paste and paper. It's kind of like paper mache. The shank is the backbone of the shoe that the dancer is cracking right now. Oh, that looks so lovely. That will make the shoes a little bit quieter. Crunchy, crunchy. So all this crunchiness is the glue. Now she's putting extra glue in the box. That's the tip of the shoe. Is that an R maker? Single X? Okay. This is called darning. Stitches go all around the edge of the box. The stitches will have to be placed evenly. And this is to make your pointe shoes last a little bit longer in the box and give it a little bit more stability, as you can see. Woo! Pancake. Make them my skin tone. Oh. This never gets old. For those of you who do not dance, a lot of people are asking like, why do dancers have to do all of this? Why can't they be made this way already? These are actually made on a straight last. The last is the wooden mold that the shoe is made on top of. So a pointe shoe last is different than a sneakers last. A sneakers last has a left and a right, but pointe shoe last, there's no left or right. It's made straight so that it's customizable for each dancer. Every dancer customizes it in a different way. Some dancers want the shank to break a little bit lower on their foot, higher on the foot, flatten the box, harder box. everyone wants something different. So these are very much customizable, and that's why these dancers are doing this. But disclaimer, if you're a young dancer that's buying your own pointe shoes, I probably wouldn't do all this because they die a lot faster the more modifications you put into it. Let's see, so darning. Okay, art class, new shoe. So the platform, okay, so there are many things that you can do with darning. Double up the thread to make it thicker and insert your first darn in the corner of your shoe near the fold of the satin. So some people will use darning thread, some people use the wax thread that you use to sew on the ribbons and the elastic to make it a little bit thicker. Some people don't use this much. Continue to stitch all around. You can cleverly add bulk thread to wherever you need the most support. Yes. So if you sickle or bevel, sickling is when you go towards your pinky, beveling is when you go towards your big toe. So if you have a tendency to kind of lean towards one way or another, or if you fall forward or back, you can add a little bit more bulk to the area where you fall, so you get a little bit more stability. Ooh, this is beautiful. Look at this. This is like a fabulous darning job. So if you have a perfect darning job, it'll stand on its own.
Using a glue much more similar to jet glue. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. What I found is cyanocrylate is the active ingredient, so any glue with that active ingredient will work as a wonderful replacement. This is stuff I found off Amazon. It's like 3 or 4 pounds a bottle. It's really good. Another hack that I have is gluing this outer edge of my pointe shoe, or at least focusing the glue on that area, obviously only from the inside. That makes it so that this part of my shoe doesn't become loud when I jump and run around. It would look like this from the inside.
So where the pleats are, that's where the dancers will land their jumps. So if you glue it too much, it'll get hard. You will sound a lot louder when you're landing your jumps. So you want to kind of go around it.
Fill the entire toe box of my pointe shoe with glue like that. I do run the risk of them becoming kind of loud just because this stuff is so hard. So if you like to keep your shoes quiet for performances, channeling the glue on the outer edge will really help.
And you can glue it in different areas. So this is a method that she uses to make the box last longer. So box is the front of the shoe. It's where your toes are. So some people will break the box first, some people will break the shank first. Depending on how you break your shoes and then where you need the most support, you can put the glue there. And she's right. Whoops, my coffee. And she's right. You can totally use crazy glue. You can use all kinds of different types of glues. And all of these different types of glue, the consistency is a little bit different. So some people will like jet glue, some people like hot stuff, some people like it extra goopy, some people like it a little bit faster. I think that having it a little bit faster is a little bit easier to dry and then layer on top of instead of just having it super goopy, but that's a personal preference. Woo! Where is this?
Hi, I'm Lacey and I work here at the National Ballet of Canada.
National Ballet of Canada's shoe room, it is like the mecca of like pointe shoe rooms. Everyone who goes there is like mesmerized. I want to go there to learn how they do their stuff. American ballet companies have a little less funding towards the arts than other countries. So we don't get as much support from our state and our government, but other countries that have this kind of support and they get a lot of funding, they're able to do something like this. And oh my gosh, I want to bring San Francisco Ballet's shoe room up to this level.
Let's go dye some shoes together.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Before I even get started, I ask the dancers to darn their shoes for continuity of color. Safety first! Each pair of pointe shoes takes an ounce of dye, which I measure out in this shot glass from a Bible of colors that you can see here. I have to dye the cotton tape on the pointe shoes separately so that the dye doesn't leak onto the tights. One pair of pointe shoes takes me approximately 10 minutes to dye. Ribbons and tights are dyed separately because they're made of a different material.
Can we be friends? Oh my gosh, you guys, I love this series so much. Give this a thumbs up for our algorithm because I really don't want this series to go away. I love this series. It's just watching pointe shoes all day long. So Danza is so good at making comfortable shoes. I will say, like, regardless of if it's a pointe shoe or a character shoe or jazz shoe, they're really good at making comfortable shoes. Ooh, okay, so you're putting the suede tip. Why would you need a suede tip? It's to prevent you from slipping and It makes it last a little bit longer, kind of like darning your pointe shoes. Suede tip is not as popular in the United States as it is in other countries, and I think it's because of the flooring that people use. In the States, I think it's not as slippery, so people don't need suede as much, but you know, just depends on your floors. A couple of years ago, San Francisco Ballet got new flooring, and it became a little bit difficult for dancers to wear their pointe shoes without suede. So we got some extra suede tips for the dancers so that they don't slip during class. It's kind of like rosin, but rosin ruins floors. So suede tip is a lot better for the floors. You guys! I love this series so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Christy Sievers and I'm the wardrobe supervisor and shoe manager of the Milwaukee Ballet. For Cinderella's shoes, we obviously can't have a dancer dancing in glass pointe shoes, so we make a little bit of magic happen by making them very sparkly. So
we have gold ones for our production.
Holographic sequins over, and I'm like the real fairy godmother.
Literally, oh my gosh. Pointe shoe room, people unite. Can we all get together and do crafts? I'm clearly the personality hire. How are dancers shellac pointe shoes? So we talked about jet glue earlier. We talked about hot glue, crazy glue. Shellac is the other material that you can use to make your shoes last a little longer.
So this is the floor polish. Everything sticks.
My boyfriend is Polish, so whenever I see polish, I'm like, oh, transparent Polish. What? Okay, sorry.
Use it to pour it back in. Poured a little bit into this foil tray.
It does take a little longer to do shellac than jet glue.
To get through with a needle if you darn afterwards. And then
because you have to wait longer for it to dry.
A little bit into the toe of the shoe, as you can see. And then I'm basically
a little bit, that's so much.
That around the shoe. So I'm just kind of letting the shellac.
You can also use a brush to do this. That's a lot.
Till all the shellac that I've poured into the toe has kind of absorbed. So you can see I've gone all the way around the toe and then down the side.
Yeah, this is a lot.
And then you will leave it to dry, usually about
a lot of professional dancers, I noticed that they just like the box really, really hard and then kind of a softer shank.
And I've worn them for 2 classes. So you can see all the shellac.
Crown maker, that's a very popular maker.
It's just so much harder. This is a pair that hasn't been shellacked.
Yeah, so it's soft.
The give that the shoe has here, the bend, is just gonna hold a bit longer, especially in the toe.
So she likes it really hard in the box. I see this a lot with professional dancers, not everybody obviously, but a lot of professional dancers, they like softer shanks that will show off their arch, but the box, they want it to be really hard so that they can stay up there. You guys, this is my favorite series ever, ever, ever. That was so much fun. Thank you for tagging us in these videos. If you want this series to survive, please, please, please keep tagging us and leave us any questions in the comments. I'll see you guys later.